If you own a home in Beavercreek, Ohio right now, your equity picture looks dramatically different than it did 12 months ago. And I'm willing to bet that a majority of homeowners have no idea just how dramatically different it actually looks. According to the state, Beavercreek median price point right now actually rose 15.6% year over year. And that price per square foot right now is up 17.9%. It's almost up 18%. Those aren't typos. So if you bought a home here, let's say around $250,000, $265,000 around 5-6 years ago, we need to talk because the math has changed significantly for you. So in the next 10 minutes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you exactly why this happened, whether it's a good time to hang on to that real estate, what it means if selling has even crossed your mind this spring, in the past year, or if it's something you've considered over the next 12 months. So let's start with why this is happening, because once you understand the demand and what's driving these prices, then everything else just makes perfect sense. So let's talk some real quick data when it comes to Beavercreek, Ohio specifically, and the suburbs that surround it. In terms of the metro area, Dayton actually is still a seller's market regardless of what you hear in the news and regardless of what your neighbors in other suburbs are telling you. Right now we have around 3.8 supply of homes. Homes are selling roughly around 43 days to around 50 days on average across the area. And Beavercreek, well, they're actually doing it a little bit faster. And in some cases, they're actually doing it a lot faster. Wright Patterson Air Force Base has a lot to do with that. That's one of our primary anchors. And if you're a lifelong resident of Beavercreek, Ohio, you know exactly why Wright Patterson Air Force Base obviously is such a huge, impactful place here in Beavercreek. Wright Patterson Air Force Base actually is about a $4.2 billion economic factor and employer here in the greater Dayton area and also in Beavercreek, Ohio. It never goes away, it never downsizes, and it's always the employer that makes the difference when it comes to resale value of your homes. Also, in the springtime, especially April into May, is when PCS orders arrive for a majority of our military personnel here in the area. Those families, they need a home before the summertime arrives, and many of them, they choose not to rent when they come to Dayton. They may choose to rent when they have orders elsewhere, but when they come to Dayton, Ohio, and they are looking at homes in Beavercreek, they will choose to buy over and over and over. Mortgage rates right now, they're sitting right around 6.2. And that is no longer holding people back when it comes to buying something. Buyers that have been waiting for rates to change, they're not waiting for those rates to drop. That's just a simple fact. They've accepted this reality and they're willing to buy anyway. So the psychological freeze that we've seen buyers have over the past 2 to 3 years, that suddenly is over. So there's also a springtime pile-on. All this is buyers that waited last fall looking for the property and didn't find anything. The spring market is the most competitive time of year. Put this together, you have the perfect storm right here in Beavercreek, Ohio. So now you understand the demand side, but let's talk about what this specifically means for Beavercreek and why this community is outperforming even the broader Dayton market as a whole. All in all, there are 3 top reasons that Beavercreek outperforms a lot of the suburbs that surround it. So let's go over those really quick because I know that's why you're here. Reason number 1 is there is a dual demand pool. We've already touched on this. There are military families plus civilian buyers that are competing for the same houses almost year round. Most markets have only one buyer pool. Beavercreek has 2 active ones all the time. BAH for military officers covers homes in the $300,000 to the $370,000 price points, and that's exactly where most Beavercreek listings land. Reason number 2 is the schools drive premiums. So Beavercreek School District, it's really a top-rated school district in the Dayton metro area. Families moving to the area also research the schools first, then they pick the community. Beavercreek comes in top. Beavercreek comes up consistently, and that's not going to change anytime soon. It hasn't year after year. Reason number 3 is the suburban footprint. There's newer stock, there's newer construction. Beavercreek has the combination of not only new construction, also larger lots and subdivisions that appeal to a lot of families. Buyers who can't find new construction inventory elsewhere, you put all those things together and it makes Beavercreek an inevitable option for buyers that are moving to the area. Now here's a bit of equity math for you if that's why you're watching this video to begin with. So here's an example. A homeowner, for instance, who paid around $265,000 back in 2021 could be looking at a home right now in Beavercreek worth around $340,000 all the way up to right around $370,000 today. So after a typical mortgage paydown, that could represent around $80,000 to almost $120,000 or more in usable equity. If you're moving out of the area, if you're military and you are PCSing somewhere and you are choosing not to keep your home as rental income as you move out of the greater area, imagine what that equity could do for you and your family as you're moving somewhere else. You could also keep that property here and continue to rent it and pull that equity out to continue on elsewhere. So the equity possibilities are endless, but that math, that's pretty incredible. Also, the spring window really matters in Beavercreek. Now, I'm not saying that the market slows down at any point in time when it comes to Beavercreek, and that's why Beavercreek is so important. But the spring window especially is extremely strong. Sellers who list in April and May and put their homes on the market, they get in front of the largest pool of buyers at any time of the year, including military families who need to close before school starts. So people that wait and they list their homes in July or August, a lot of times that pool is already gone and they're looking at those people who are already settled in and the pool of buyers is a lot smaller. Now what I'm going to do is actually tell you a little bit about what I'm seeing in Beavercreek right now, what's going on in Beavercreek. So let's talk about it. Now here's a prime example. I had a seller last year in 2025 on Lomeda Drive in Beavercreek. She actually purchased this property, which is a tri-level, a really nice tri-level, for around $275,000 in 2020. She was transferred out of the area in 2025, and remember, she paid $275,000 for this property. She maintained the property very well, but didn't make any major overhauls to the property. When we went to sell the property, she actually sold the property for $360,000. And to say that she was pleased with the sale of that property without having to do a whole heck of a lot to that home to have that sort of equity gain in that short a period of time as she had to relocate out of the area. Now let's talk a little bit about what some of the day on market is doing in other parts of the area compared to Beavercreek. Outside of Beavercreek, we are seeing some days on market that are slowly catching up with what Beavercreek is seeing right now. But what's interesting is that we see so much new construction in Beavercreek that the day on market may be the same in places like Kettering or Oakwood or Bellbrook, and they're all hovering around the same. But what's happening is you're looking at so much new construction in Beavercreek. The fact that the day on market remains the same there is an indicator that the market is extremely strong there in Beavercreek as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about one of the areas that I'm seeing a lot of activity right now in Beavercreek, and that's actually a really unique subdivision called Country Acres. I'm seeing a lot of those properties actually go under contract under around 23 days in the market, some of them under contract within a couple of days, and about 12 to 20% of those are actually going under contract over list price. That's telling you something about the Beavercreek market. Their average sale price is much, much higher in terms of the sale price to list price than anywhere else in Beavercreek, as a matter of fact, anywhere else in the greater Dayton area. So if you're looking at areas that are having a great turnover rate and a great ratio and a great sale rate, not only is Beavercreek a fantastic choice, but maybe take a look at Country Acres. We should probably talk about that, right? Now, I know what you were probably thinking at this point in time, and I want to address the 3 objections I hear most often from sellers before they ever call me, because they're worth answering honestly. So let's get it out of the way, and let's talk about the 3 objections I hear from sellers all the time, even in an incredible market. The first question is, prices can't keep going up this fast. I'll just wait until there's a lot more appreciation. Why would I go ahead and do it now? If this keeps going up, there'll be more appreciation down the road. An honest answer, and you might be right, but appreciation eventually does slow down. And waiting for more appreciation while you're hoping rates don't rise is like a 2-variable bet. And that is something that buyers are waiting and competing for on your home. That doesn't necessarily happen when that 2-variable bet starts to fail. That urgency isn't guaranteed in the next 12 months. The urgency is happening right now. So while that appreciation may continue, the urgency is not always going to be there. The question is not whether prices go higher. The question exists is whether the conditions you have today will also still be there when. This next question is actually one of my favorite ones because I do like to help people with their issues that they have and their nervousness when it comes time to sell, especially looking to buy. And this question is, I don't know where I'd go if I sold. And the honest answer is, it's the most common thing that I hear, and it's a really big concern. Let me tell you what I do for clients in this situation. The first thing is, we map out where you want to go first. Whether you're looking to move to Springboro, Centerville, or a custom build, or if you're downsizing, or we plan around whatever that destination is. So selling into nothing, that is what's scary. But selling into a plan, that is what becomes really exciting. So that's the conversation that I want to have with you, and that is what the offer is actually all about. If I sell my house, we make the plan in advance so that you have a plan and you know exactly why you're selling and what happens the moment your home gets sold. Now, this is also a really big one. This is the third and last objection I hear more often than not is, I really need to update my kitchen. I need to fix the bathroom. I need to repaint this. I need to do this. I have this huge list of things I need to do before I ever list the home. The first thing I do is let's put a hold on everything until I come out. And the honest answer, some updates are worth it, absolutely. But a majority of the time, most of them are not. In this market, buyers are willing to pay for the location and the schools and the square footage, not for your specific kitchen tastes. I've seen sellers spend $25,000 on renovations that added $10,000 in value to the final sale price of their home. And I've seen sellers do absolutely nothing and get over asking price at the end of the day. So before you pick up a hammer, let's talk about what actually moves your property and moves the needle of that sale price in Beavercreek right now so that we can get the most out of your home and help you make that move. Simple as that. Now, so here's what I want you to do with all this information. So if you're ready, if you own a home in Beavercreek and any part of this had you thinking anything about moving, anything about your equity, and kind of where you stand, I offer a free home evaluation, no obligation, obviously. And this is not an estimate like you see on Zillow, which is an average across zip codes. It doesn't know anything about your cul-de-sac, doesn't know what your neighbors are doing. An actual number based on what I see selling in your neighborhood and what I see because I go in and out of these homes every single day. You can text, you can call me. All my information is here below. It's all in my bio. You can book a consultation, also available there in my bio. All the numbers are there. There's no pressure, just the numbers, just the facts, and what they mean for you and what they mean for your goals specifically. Thanks for watching today, and I look forward to talking to you again really soon.